was made in Colombia, born in Chicago. I have a twin sister and younger twin brothers. I've lived in 3 countries, Italy, Colombia, and the United States. I speak English, Spanish, Italian. I love Zumba. I love Pilates. I love hiking and biking. There's so many things I love, but I could just go on forever. Ice cream. So into ice cream and milkshakes, which is one of the reasons why my studio is called Tiny Milkshake Media. And I'm a big goofball. I feel like having fun is essential in the workplace for productivity and just in life in general.
Oh, that's amazing. So how did you get your start off in marketing?
So back in college, back in university, I started out studying psychology. I was super interested in psychology and just human behavior and what made humans do what they do. I had no idea there was a whole career in advertising and marketing. And I had a wonderful professor who I had consulted with him, and he actually suggested I take a class in advertising. And I was hooked. I took a class in advertising and marketing communications. Ended up transferring from psychology to marketing communications and journalism. And I was always fascinated by advertising since I was a little girl. Some of my favorite brands and ads is "Where's the beef?" Remember that? Where's the beef? And,
yes.
And Tony the Tiger. They're great. So I just loved all those commercials. Like with Super Bowl, I don't watch the Super Bowl for the sport. I could care less about the sports. And no offense to anybody who loves the sport, I just don't quite understand it. I watch it for the ads. I love the ads, so that's how I got my start.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes both of us, because I only watch the Super Bowl for the ads too. And what about do you remember the Budweiser commercial? What's up? Do you remember that one?
Yes, I love that one. That is one of the best.
Yeah, I love that one
ever. I forgot to say I was also the queen of internships, and one of the reasons I landed my first job is because through an internship. I literally had 4 internships. 2 at
wow,
TV station,
that's
a
great.
radio station, and advertising agency, and that's how I got my first job. Yeah, it's just a lot of internships.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I know that you've had a great career on the marketing side, and you have transitioned over to content development. So tell us what that process was like for you.
Yeah, the thing is, I've always been in content somehow. I've always been fascinated with content. I back in college, I studied marketing, communications, and advertising, but I also studied journalism. I worked at the local radio station university. I also did on camera. I couldn't separate the two. I wanted to do both, and back in the day, there wasn't a way to do both because there was no such thing as branded content or content marketing quite yet. I just kind of took a circuitous route into working in advertising, and then I was an on-camera reporter, and then PR, and then I went to content copywriting, junior copywriter, back into advertising, then digital marketing, and then transitioned into creating my own online magazine for Latinas. It was called La Cosmo por Latina. It was daily lifestyle tips for Latinas who think in American but love in Spanish. And that's kind of how I got into content marketing and creating content videos back in from 2009 to 2012. At the advent of social media marketing. That's how I learned all about social media marketing. And that's kind of where and ended up going, converging to where I am now, creating content and animated stories and tiny animated stories that delight audiences and build brands and basically turn followers of brands into super fans. Yeah.
I love that. So tell us, we know you told us that you love ice cream, and milkshakes. So tell us the backstory. Of how Tiny Milkshakes came to life.
Yeah. So our ethos, as you know, ice cream. I'm such a diehard fan for ice cream and diehard fan for ice cream and milkshakes. But our ethos is we believe that everything we do and everything we create, we make the world and the people in it a little happier. And while milkshakes make people happy, certainly makes me happy. So milkshakes and ice cream are really my happy place, especially since I was a little girl, because my father would take my twin sister and I for ice cream. So there's the connection. I want to bring that happiness to others through animated content that delights, like milkshakes. Unless you're lactose intolerant,
I love that.
It's a hell.
I love that. So what kind of brands are you working with right now in terms of developing content?
We have some NDAs on some of the brands, but I can tell you that we're working with a really huge soup brand that's been known in the industry for, I think they've been around for more than 40 years now. I'm sure you can guess what the soup brand is. Everybody knows what it is. We're also working with a startup that focuses on dream analysis. And we're also working with the cheese brand, the little baby cheeses. So yeah, we tend to do we're very, very much big foodies. I'm a very big foodie. So we tend to do a lot of food work, but we also have done work for some pharmaceutical companies as well, and some consumer product goods as well.
Great.
Products.
And
I think I can tell you we're working with Campbell's Chunky Soup to create some concepts and some animated content for social media. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. That's awesome. And now, where can people find you and find your work? And if anyone who's watching is interested in getting in touch with you, what's the best way to find you?
Yeah, they can find me under the Instagram handle at Tiny Milkshake Media. They can find me there, or they can find me personally, Lizbeth Cardozo R at Lizbeth Cardozo R, or no, Lizbeth Cardozo but with a 0. That's me personally. But I'm always on the Tiny Milkshake Media Instagram handle, so you can always just reach out to me there. I'll respond to anybody if anybody reaches out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And now, Lizbeth, based on your career and based on all of your success, what would be the 3 career insights that you would share with our audience today?
Oh, definitely. Hands down. Apply like a man. Apply to jobs like a man. Apply for a job that even if you only tick off 3 out of 8 qualifications, apply. I mean, because men do it all the time. They'll apply for a position they're not 100% qualified for, but they're so confident, overconfident that they'll apply for the job, and simply showing up and showing that they have the great attitude and the aptitude, they get the job. We can do the same. We tend to, and I used to do that when I was younger. I would feel like I had to at least have 9 out of the 10 ticks to qualify for the job. But now I've learned to apply like a man. Asking for help is actually a sign of strength and vulnerability. So ask for help. It's a sign of strength. And set boundaries early on and stick to them, or people will walk all over you. Yeah, those are the 3 biggest things that.
Wow, those are some really good ones. I love that. Setting boundaries. And I think that is one that's probably hard for a lot of us, right? Where we want to deliver and we want to over deliver, and setting boundaries is hard because we just don't want to disappoint. So that's actually a really good one, a reminder for our audience.
Absolutely, especially now during the pandemic, where there's no boundary between your home and personal life and work. I mean, you have to set really clear boundaries so that you keep yourself sane and so as far as your mental health, you just keep yourself in a good mind space.
Yeah, and how do you find during not only during the pandemic but even prior to the pandemic, what tools do you use to to keep that work-life balance? I mean, I know that you're a huge Zumba. You do Zumba. So what other things do you do to keep that balance?
Yeah, so I definitely have a meditation practice and a yoga practice. So it's something that I just committed to years ago. It was really hard to do back then because I was such a workaholic back in 2009, 2012. But I got to a point where I wasn't good in my mind space or physically. I got pretty unhealthy. And then I just decided that I needed to commit. I needed to make the commitment, wake up every day early, meditate for 30 minutes, get in that mind space so that the rest of the day is just going to be amazing and I'd be completely in the flow. But yeah, I just decided years ago, after I kicked the habit of being a workaholic, and just and perfection, like the whole perfection thing, I finally realized that it's just, it's not good, trying to focus on trying to be perfect. It's not good. Better done than perfect. But I just focused on just, trying to be in a better mind space, eat the good food, meditate, do yoga, and find the time for myself, because self-care is so essential in order for you to be productive and do any good work at work or be good at home, or with your relationships, with your personal relationships. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's self-care, mental health is all something that has been really bubbling up, as a result of the pandemic. Because not only isolation, I mean, obviously our worlds are turned upside down, and it's nice to see that, things are going to start coming back in full force later this month. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, do you feel like you sleep where you work now because everything is so intertwined? Or how are you able to just say, okay, I'm stopping work here, and then, just how, what's your thought process there?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm really good at being disciplined, and other times I'm really bad. But it's just one of the things that I've done to break up the day is I try to take a walk every day. Because now that we don't have to commute anywhere, there's nowhere to go. You just roll out of bed and down, into your office or down into your kitchen space. But no, I try to make it a point to take a break. Make my lunch. After lunch, go out and walk, or really early in the morning, if I get to bed on time and not work until late at night. Really wake up early in the morning. First thing I do is work out, because it just puts me in a great mind space and gives me the energy and the focus and the agility that I need to be, the acuity that I need to be able to do a better job and be productive.
I thank you so much for your time today. It has been great. It's been great chatting with you, and you definitely have given us some great tips as we all continue to navigate, the work-life balance. So thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see everyone here next week for our next lunchtime conversation. Thanks, Lizbeth.
So much, Elisa. Okay. Thanks for the time.
Talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.